What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Berquist Armament channel. Today we will be going over the PSA Soviet Arms WBP AK-101. This will be a update review at 3,500 rounds. There is an initial impressions review if you want to check that out on the channel. But today I want to focus on the updates that we've done. This is not a stock rifle. There's a lot going on here. So we're going to go over this thing and I'm going to show you all of the details. We're going to go over everything and then we're going to go over the accuracy and just finish up with my final thoughts. So without further ado, let's get into it. First thing I want to talk about relating to this rifle is going to be reliability. That is a huge thing that when it comes to buying PSA rifles is will it be reliable. And thankfully, out of the factory, this thing has been awesome. No reliability issues. I've had weak primer strikes on this rifle. That has been ammo related. Only one has been somewhat questionable. 1 year of shooting this thing and temperatures all the way down to about -30, all the way up to, maybe about 100 degrees. This thing has been extremely reliable, and that's exactly what we're looking for in an AK rifle. The reason I chose this rifle instead of another rifle is because it comes with a WBP kit. WBP is a company based out of Poland, and they make quality AK parts. They're pretty well renowned in the gun industry, at least in America, for being a well-known gun manufacturer. You have your front trunnion block, which is from WBP, and then the bolt and carrier are also from WBP, which in my opinion, that's going to be one of the biggest things. Obviously, the front trunnion is huge, but when you're talking about quality parts, the bolt itself is going to be a huge part that you want to be extremely reliable. So, in a sense, this gun is like, imagine taking a budget AR-15 and then throwing in a nice bolt carrier group. A little bit more enhancement in reliability and quality of parts. Today's video is sponsored by Berquist Armament. Myself, that's right. We sponsor ourselves because we like to have our own opinions, and I don't want to feed you some fake stuff. So if you like the content, if you like the truth, if you like what I'm telling you, and you don't like biased opinions or you don't like, paid reviews, please support the channel. It's free. You can do all the YouTube stuff, or I actually build custom upper receiver groups. So go over to my link in my bio or in the description below and head over to my website. There you will find a plethora of upper receiver groups that match your needs. If you're looking for 11.5, a 12.5, a 16-inch. If you're looking for a quality upper receiver group, head over to my website and check it out, and I'll have what you need. Otherwise, hit me up, contact me, and let me know if you're looking for a custom build. I can do that as well. Okay, without further ado, let's go back to the video. Let's go over the details of this build. Starting at the tip here, we have the PSA tank brake or tanker brake. The brake is a standard muzzle brake, nothing special, and it works just fine. One thing very unique about this rifle is the barrel is threaded 1/2 by 28, so it will accept all of your standard muzzle devices, such as an A2 birdcage or whatever you want to put on here. Another note to mention is this is a PSA barrel, and this thing did come concentric, so the barrel threads were concentric from the factory, which is extremely important if you're going to shoot suppressed because you don't want to have a baffle strike. So that is very awesome. Something that we want to see from a manufacturer is making sure their barrels are concentric from the factory. Moving down, we have a standard AK front side post, no complaints, nothing has come loose. It was straight from the factory, so that's very good. And then moving down, we have the Walrus Alpha 1 handguard here. And I have an installation video on this handguard on the channel if you want to go check that out. I do really like this handguard because of its heat mitigation. Because of the weight, it is going to soak up a lot of that heat. And that is extremely important because AKs get very hot very quickly. So shooting hundreds of rounds with this thing, going through drills, just moving it really fast, just mag dumping. Yes, it gets hot, but with a glove, it has never become unbearable. I have my QD attachment here, a Magpul QD attachment. So I can run this thing with my regular slings, which is awesome enough to buy a new sling, and that works very well. For the charging handle, I have the Zenico RP5, and this is a nice addition to the rifle because it helps charge the weapon. It makes it, as a righty, it makes it easier to reach over and grab a hold of that. Because one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about is when you're charging AKs, if you get too close to the platform, you're going to hit yourself on something, whether it's the dust cover, whether it's the safety, something's going to rub up on you. So having that little extension and that nice lever on the end there where you can get a nice finger hold really helps. As we're talking about charging the weapon, I wanted to take a second to talk about this. So there's 3,500 rounds to this rifle. The thing has smoothed out extremely well. I don't know if you guys can hear this. It is extremely smooth. It's not gritty at all. At first it was, of course, from the factory, but the way this thing has worked in is extremely well. Moving down, we have the Texas Weapon Systems top cover rail. And this is essentially a mount for our optics, as you can see. And this thing is pretty easy to install, and it works pretty well. I had these two screws up top here come loose, and I had to apply more Loctite and tighten them down. The top cover works very well. It seems to hold zero with, I've had an LPVO in here, and now I have a red dot and a magnifier, and it seems to hold zero quite well. And then on the top here, we have a Sig Sauer. This is one of their new red dots, and there actually is a review on the channel if you want to go check that out as well. This is the Sig MSR Gen 2. And this is essentially a T2, Aimpoint T2 clone. And it does a very good job of being a red dot. It's somewhat reliable, and what's kind of nice is it's exact co-witness to the Aimpoint T2. So we have a ScalarWorks 157 mount, because I just had this laying around and I wanted to have a better mount than the stock mount that comes with the red dot. So I threw this on here, so this is an actual 157. In the back here we have a Sig Juliet 3X magnifier. I really like this magnifier combo, the red dot and the magnifier, because it helps extend the range of the rifle. And then whenever I'm not using it, I can either take the magnifier off or flip it to the side. So that is quite awesome. And then of course, we have to have backup iron sights. I have a little peep sight in the back, and then I can look through the front post as well. So that works quite well. So I have two aiming solutions on this rifle, which is awesome. And then what's nice about this iron sight is I can just drop down on the stock and then look through the irons. Yes, it's not perfect. You have to get pretty low on the rifle, but it does work, and it is practical, and you can hit targets, up to 50 yards away very accurately. So that works just fine. And then moving back, we have a Midwest Industries Picatinny plate that I put on here. This is just a standard AKM receiver, so very easy to install. We have the Midwest Industries Alpha Folding stock. These have been quite popular recently because they are a decent stock, actually. They come with a lot of features. You can adjust the ride height. You can fold them as this one. You can fold that over just like that. And then you have QD mounts right there, and then one more on the other side right there. So this does work quite well, and it is somewhat stable, and it has a nice butt pad on the back there. And you can adjust the ride height of the butt pad. You can adjust the length. You can adjust the height. So a lot of adjustability with the stock, great addition to this rifle. It makes it just kind of come around. You can fold it if you want, and it works just fine. And you know what else is just fine? This Magpul K2 grip in the back here. I do like this grip. I run the K2s in a lot of my rifles, so putting it on the AK made a lot of sense to me. It works quite well. The grip is good. The angle is good. One thing I will say is I did have it loosen up a couple times, so that's one thing you might want to do if you're going to get one of these is degrease and use thread locker, and make sure you're getting it tightened down correctly. But once I got it tightened down, it hasn't come loose again, so that is working quite well. For the safety selector, I have a WBP safety selector. This is the enhanced model, so as you can see, it has the enhanced ledge there, so you can reach up and manipulate that. I do really like this. It does stick out, which is kind of annoying, but it really helps if you're going to be running drills where you want to have the safety on. I know many people talk about AKs, don't run the safety, just have trigger control, but it is really nice to have safety control on the weapon. So whenever you're starting drills, It's very easy just to flip it down. And then when you're done, you can simply move it up. When I just got it, it was a little bit gritty. It took a while to work in, but now it is very smooth and it works very well. So big fan of that safety, would recommend. Another point I wanted to talk about that is extremely important is magazines. If you don't have a reliable magazine, the firearm is not going to be reliable. So 2 magazines here. These are actually see-through. I painted this over. So this is a WBP 5.56 AK magazine. These work just fine, extremely well. They are Palmer and very light. This is the 20-round tanker, and it works very well. Very light magazine. No metal reinforcements, unfortunately, but they do work quite well, and I would recommend these. They are very reliable. Secondly, I have the PSA AK magazines, and these are a little bit interesting. So it seems to be a metal magazine with a polymer overlay. So you have metal feed lips, a metal latch in the back. You also have metal here as well. It's very hard to see. Overall, both magazines have been reliable. And these are 30 rounders, by the way. And of course, we would never load those to 30 rounds because of YouTube rules and regulations. And I really just want to comply with YouTube rules and be a good little boy. So I would never actually load these to 30 rounds. But yeah, these are 30 round magazines. And then here you have your 20 round magazine. Let's go ahead and open up this Texas Weapon Systems cover and take a look at the internals. Let's go ahead and take a look at the carrier. I specifically wanted to highlight where the trigger hammer meets the carrier. As you can see, there is some deformation. However, it does not seem to be getting worse, so the little bit that is there, it seems like it's going to stay that way. And this can be an issue when you get aftermarket triggers, if the trigger face is harder than the carrier, but in this case it looks pretty good. And then as you can see where the lugs meet the carrier, everything is looking pretty smooth, worn in. Everything is looking very normal to me. And then here we have our bolt. I wanted to highlight the wear and highlight the lugs, but everything is looking pretty good so far. There is wear on the lugs, and that is okay, that is normal. And it seems to not get worse. And as I was showing you guys, this thing is very smooth. So everything is worked in just fine. Let's go ahead and disassemble the bolt, pushing the firing pin retainer pin out. There is some resistance, which is good. I've seen videos of PSA retainer pins just falling out. Here we have our firing pin. Let's go and take a look at the firing pin tip. It looks to be very round and not damaged, so that's what we're looking for. It looks pretty normal to me. Let's go ahead and push our extractor retainer pin out. And out will come the extractor and the extractor spring. Extractor spring looks normal, looks within good spec. And same with the extractor. It appears to be within good specifications, and it looks good to go. Here we have our AK fixed ejector, and this is why AKs are so reliable, right? Because there is no spring mechanism. There's just a fixed ejector, and it looks very good. It looks undamaged. It looks good to go. And there is our front trunnion. All of the rivets appear to be within good condition. There is our rear trunnion. Same thing. Rivets look like they're in good condition. So this thing is looking pretty good at 3,500 rounds. Let's go ahead and test the headspace. So here we have 223 go, 14636. And it will take it, and it will take it. Very good. Let's go ahead and do 556 go, 14646. and this will not take. And before anyone asks, the chamber was thoroughly cleaned, and yes, it will not take 3 times. Let's go ahead and rotate and try it again, and it will not take. So very disappointing. This is not the first PSA product that has had this issue online, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accuracy. All groups were shot at 50 yards. First up, here we have on targets 223 77 grain SMK coming in about 5.5 inches at 50 yards, or about 11 MOA. Here we have the same ammo, but I was using a suppressor. With this group, here we have a 10-shot group coming in at 0.98 at 50 yards, or about 1.96 MOA. Here we have a 10-shot group using the same ammo and a suppressor coming in at 1.7 at 50 yards, or 3.4 MOA. Here is a 10-shot group unsuppressed using Igman M193. 10 shots coming in at 3.8 inches at 50 yards, or 7.6 MOA. This is another 10-shot group using the same ammo but suppressed, and 10 shots coming in at 2.2 inches at 50 yards, or 4.4 MOA. Another 10-shot group using the same ammo and suppressed, coming in at 4 inches at 50 yards, or about 8 MOA. Here's a 5-shot group with Winchester's 223 69 grain coming in at 2 inches at 50 yards, or 4 MOA. This is a 5-shot group using SIG's 223 Remington 40 grain, 3 inches at 50 yards, or 6 MOA. This is a 5-shot group using PMC's X-Tac M193, 2.3 inches at 50 yards, or 4.6 MOA. This is another 5-shot group using the same ammo. We are getting 3.2 inches at 50 yards, or 6.4 MOA. Okay, so now that we've reviewed the accuracy portion, I wanted to talk a little bit about the accuracy. So, strangely enough, unsuppressed, this thing does not shoot that well. It is not very accurate. It doesn't matter if you're using match ammunition or ball, M193, or whatever you're using. I haven't tested every single load through it, but unsuppressed, it doesn't shoot that well. It's pretty inaccurate in my opinion. We threw on a suppressor and the group's tightened up with match ammunition, so not quite sure why that is. So accuracy, disappointing if you're not going to run a suppressor. If you're going to run a suppressor, impressive. So that's kind of a mixed bag there. Let's go over my final thoughts on this PSA Soviet Arms WBP AK-101. My final thoughts are, this is not a AK-101. Thankfully, the AK community let me know that in the comments of the first video. I really like the rifle. I'm not disappointed I bought it. Overall accuracy, not the best in my opinion. Reliability is good as it should be. It's an AK. The parts wear, as you guys have seen, it's done pretty well. And I do think the enhancement of the WBP parts plays a big difference because they are a quality manufacturer. And as we know, buying a quality rifle over a low budget, high production rifle is going to be more reliable. The role this fits is, it's a really good training tool. I like AKs and I want to be well versed on the platform and have fast reloads and be able to shoot them and have good recoil control on a huge piston operated firearm. So this is a really excellent training tool. Overall, extremely fun gun to shoot. Everyone that has shot this firearm loves it. It's a fun gun to shoot. It's an AK. And on top of that, 5.56. Everyone has 5.56. It's very plentiful. One more thing I wanted to mention with this thing shooting suppressed is, I've shot this with a baffle style suppressor and a low back pressure style suppressor. One thing I will say is AKs are very gassy suppressed. This is not a gun that you're going to want to put a can on and run drills with. It's very heavy. Second of all, because the gas. This right here, this little, detent that holds the cover on there, all the gas is going to sneak through there and hit you right in the face. It's going to hit you in the eyeball. It's going to hit you in the nose. It's going to go up your nose, into your lungs, and you're going to choke on it. So that's not ideal. People out there saying, oh, the piston guns, they're better suppressed, HK 416, AKs, all this stuff. No, that's a myth in my opinion. At least with this AK versus an AR, This thing suppressed sucks. I'd rather take an AR over this suppressed every single day of the week, because the gas goes into your face. It's disgusting, honestly. It's a gas nightmare. So I think where this thing shines is unsuppressed. I really appreciate you guys making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this content, hit the like, subscribe, share the video, and leave me a comment. What do you think of this rifle, if you're going to get one, and what do you think of PSA AKs? Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.